Welcome students. Now we are going to see class 10th chapter 1 Chief Seattle's speech. Before starting this chapter, I would like to give short introduction about the chapter and tribal way of lifestyle so that it will help you to understand the chapter very easily. So we are not going to see chapter line by line, but I am going to tell you the summary or the message given in the chapter through this chapter. Today the world is facing a lot of ecological problems due to excessive use of natural resources. This chapter deals with the ecology and tribal way of lifestyle. Since I belong to tribal community, I can understand how tribals are very close to the nature. Chief Seattle was born around 1780 near Blake Island in Washington. This island was ruled by Red Americans or Adivasis, we can say. You must know Adivasis are all over the world. Chief Seattle was the leader of Squamish and Duwamish tribe. These tribes were known as Red Americans, or we call them Red Indians also. As we know, Adivasis have very deep attachment and relationship with nature. Jal, jungle and zameen, water, land and forest are their lifeline. For them, land is a soul, a beautiful gift from their ancestors. They are not merely owner of land, but they are caretakers of land and whatever exists in earth or land. Their socio-economical, socio-religious life, worship, cult, culture, rite, rituals, feasts and festivals are related to the nature. Air, water, forest, trees, plants, animal, birds, hills, mountains, rivers are vital part of their life. Tribals see God in nature and worship God in nature. They worship actually Great Spirit and the spirit of their ancestors. Since we are in Jharkhand, so we are among tribals, so we can understand how they worship great spirits. Orans worship Dharmes, and Munda tribals worship Singabonga, and so on. So they are great spirits, and they worship these great spirit as well as the spirits of ancestors. They utilize natural things only for survival and not for the big commercial purpose. Red Indians were not much educated that time, but they were wise men. They were good ecologists or environmentalists. Throughout the centuries, their land was occupied or taken away by the white people, and they were forced to move westward in the dense forest. In this process, many Red Americans were killed when they opposed by the white people. So their population slowly decreased. Therefore, there was enmity between white Americans and red Americans for a long time. As we know, after the independence of America, George Washington became the first president of United States of America on 30th April 1789. He was a great political leader, military general, and a citizen, a good citizen. He was the founder of United States of America. George Washington sends proposal that he wants to buy their land, the land of Red Americans. The president gives assurance that he will give some special constitutional rights, duties, and respect to the Red Americans. And he will also give a special protection to them, to their tribal men, women, and children. We have same provision in India also wherever there are Adivasis because they were the original settlers. Chief Seattle and his tribal community agrees to hand over their land to the white settlers. His height was hardly 6 feet, but he was man of wisdom. When he addressed his audience, his voice was loud and bold. He delivered his speech in 1854 at Washington. His speech is wise argument. He gave ecological suggestions, responsibilities towards land and nature. While delivering his speech, Chief Seattle appeals that his community people to forget about old enmity, as well as he also appeals with white people to forget about the old enmity and build a friendship relationship of love and friendship. He affirms that President George is our good father. His army is brave. They will protect us from our enemies, Hades and Simasians. They were the enemies of Red Americans. They were disturbing them always. So, President wants to build up new relationship of love and friendship with Red Americans. In their speech, Chief Seattle also mentions about the tribal philosophy and theology, the understanding of God and nature, such as we can read in book, Your God loves your people and hates our people. He takes care of your people. Your God helps your people to prosper or spread all over the land. Your religious moral codes are written on stony tablets by iron finger. It refers to the Ten Commandments of Bible because he is making argument with Christian people. Your God does not love us, and our great spirit has also left us in our own fate. So this is what the Chief Seattle is expressing, and he says that we are two distinct races with different origin, but some of the things are common in us as human beings. It means tribal religion, tribal culture, tribal philosophy, tribal way of understanding world or nature is very different from the mainstream religions such as Christianity, Islam and Hinduism. They find God in nature and great spirit in their spirit is their God like. So this is what this chapter is going to teach us. But this chapter will focus more on the environmental problem. So let us read the text so it will give you better understanding. Since Chief Seattle was the leader of his tribe, he delivered a speech to his people and addressing the white people on 11th March 1854. In that speech, he says that the President Washington wants to purchase the land of Red Americans. So he is surprised thinking that how can a man buy land and sky? And it was difficult for him to understand his proposal. And he says how a man can become owner of wind and water. How can we sell and purchase them, since we are not the master of air and water? He says every portion of land is holy. Their land is a beautiful gift from their ancestors. Since after death their ancestors have been buried in their land, so their souls dwell in their land, air, water, and green fields. Therefore, still their dead members live with them, dwell with them. But the ancestors of white people go to heaven after death. The Chief Seattle says we are well familiar with each plant, tree, river, and all the natural objects. We are part of the nature. Plants, trees, flowers are like our sisters, and the wild animals are like our brothers. They grow and live together with them. We grow and live together with them. This is what the Chief Seattle is saying. The mountains, hills, rivers, waterfalls, they are our family members. Water is not merely water for us, but they are blood of our ancestors, which gives us life. When we see our face in clean water of river, it tells us a lot of stories of our people. Sound of river water is like sound of our forefathers. Further he says, rivers are our ancestors. They quench our thirst. River water helps us to travel from one place to another place. River provides fish to our children to fill their stomach. So you must respect the rivers as you respect your sisters. If we sell our land, we never forget that air is precious for us. The beautiful fragrance comes out of this land, since our forefathers' first and last breath is also blend in the land. Our children have grown up in the same air. When we sell our land, you must respect our land as a holy thing. There is sweetness in this land and its flowers. Will you not educate your children as we have educated our children to respect our Mother Earth? If something bad happens in Earth, we all suffer and become victims of it. Further, he says, we know that we are not the owner of this land, but we have got it as ancestral heritage. So we are merely caretakers of this land and natural things such as trees, plants, air, water, animals, birds, and whatever exists in this land, and we have not created them. If we destroy earth, nobody will survive here. We know that we know that the earth is a beautiful creation of God, and God loves earth. If we destroy this his beautiful creation, naturally God will become angry with us. Here God refers for red Indians as great spirit. You must keep in mind. If you destroy forest and plants, where will the wild horse and other animals live? Because forest is their home, wild animals' home. When we destroy forest, people and animal will die. Chief Seattle reminds the white chief to respect wild animals and protect them. After selling the land, when red people will leave this land or quit this land, only few plants will remain. Even our soul will dwell in this land because our ancestors have been buried in this land. There is a risk that white people may utilize natural resources in a very excessive way. So there is a chance that more buildings and factories will come up, and nature will be destroyed. Trees will be cut. The Chief Seattle says, we love this earth as a mother loves her baby. When we sell our land to you, you must love this land and take care of it. While receiving this land, receive our culture, our cultural memories and tradition also. Keep it safely, protect it for your coming generation also, as God has protected you. As we are part of this land, in the same way, you white people are also part of it. At the end, Chief Seattle says, God the Father is our master. We all are his sons and daughters of the same God. Therefore, our blood is same. No one is white and no one is red. We all are brothers. The red Americans will never let you or leave you alone and your children, said the white people, said to the white people. So Chief Seattle says that red Americans will never leave white Americans. They will always accompany them as their brothers and sisters. So this is a beautiful speech given by Chief Seattle, a tribal man. Thank you very much for watching my video.